Okay, so I suppose that yesterday served as my introduction, and wow, I'm actually quite proud of it. I have not been so eloquent in a very long time. Um, I've spent many years, 5 or 6 years, just flying around watching anime, binging on junk food, binging on television shows, binge watching movies, constantly trying to end the cycle of despair, of sloth, of gluttony, and having absolutely no success. When I was younger, I read books like The Science of Good and Evil by Michael Shermer, Consilience, The Unity of Knowledge, The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil, like postgraduate level books, TED Talk level books, except, take a TED Talk, turn it into a 1,000-page book, make it 1,000 times deeper, and that's the type of books I was reading. If you're familiar at all with TED Talks, if you're not, TEDTALKS, TED Talks, just spell talks with TED in the front, and have your mind blown if you're interested in all in that sort of thing. Um, though I suppose with the hashtags I'm using in the title of this video, if you're not familiar with TED Talks, I can be much interested in what I have to say here. Um, so I'm giving my last chance at actually having a life worth living. If over the next 100 days I can't turn my life around, I'm gonna give up on life. Slowly allow my heart condition to exacerbate, that is, get worse over time to the point that I have chest pains all day, every day, and my heart fails, weakens to the point that I can barely walk without chest pains. That I literally just have to kill myself to end the suffering, because right now my heart condition is getting nothing but worse and worse. Because until quite recently, I would say the day before yesterday, I did nothing but vape and binge on junk food. Then yesterday I made that video and suddenly something changed. I listened to that video back and back and thought, what if I tried a new approach? And then today I came up with an entirely a little bit of a reckless plan, but a plan that might actually work. Might actually work. Excuse me. I need practice at enunciating my words because I haven't been producing YouTube videos like I've been supposed to, which I should have been doing since I was, you know, 12, 13 years old. I think YouTube came out in like 2002, 2003. As soon as YouTube came out, I should have been doing podcasts. I should have been talking to professors of various different fields, everything from evolutionary psychology to artificial intelligence, and having really in-depth, interesting, meaningful discussions. Since I lacked that as a youth, I was completely alone because no one was interested in the type of things I was just interested in. Um, People think, oh, hyper intellectual, what a gift, being so intelligent. It's not. Girls don't like intelligent guys. If you're a guy and you start talking about something that's way above the girl's head, she immediately becomes unattracted to you. You know, um, I'm sorry, but you know, even girls in their late 20s don't want to hear about you know these amazing thoughts you have on the latest essay you read by Ayn Rand, or the latest advancement in artificial intelligence, or the latest advancements in the cure for aging. Some girls do, but they're extremely rare. My girlfriend is one of them. Though she's not as hyper intellectual as I am, she's very open to new ideas, but she doesn't love reading books like I do, and she has a lot of creativity, but she hasn't found an outlet for it yet. And she's been kind of in the dumps lately, but That just changed recently, and I hope I can set an example of her so that she could actually channel her creativity and her intelligence into something beautiful, because she has so much beauty inside of her that's gone completely untapped, and it's been just stagnant for a long time, just like my own. Hope she can bring that into actuality and do something with it. But anyway, this is about me. So I'm going to succeed or I'm going to kill myself, basically, is what's going down. I have an interview on Saturday with the author of The Myth of Adolescence, which, you know, it focuses on the fact that there used to be just, childhood and then adulthood. Once you were 12, you're an adult. You started working. Benjamin Franklin, when he turned 12, started working in the print industry. He's young, bright, hardworking, diligent, responsible, and he was good with money. He saved his money, and people believed in him, gave him financial backing, and he started his own. He started the first truly independently owned newspaper in all the colonies. At the age of 15. Imagine that. At the age of 15, he started his own newspaper. At the age of 12, he started a career. At the age of 15, he started his own newspaper. And at the age of 12, he could read and write better than most most people who graduate with a master's degree. Why? Because instead of wasting most of their time playing video games, binging on Netflix, and gossiping about who made out with who or who gave who a hand job, Benjamin Franklin spent his youth studying for his own pleasure, and self-directed learning actually leaves you remembering about 10 times more of the material that you study than when you're forced to study something. That's why all education should be self-directed learning. And what schools should do is simply foster the self-directed learning, the student choosing what to read, choosing what to learn about, choosing which career to pursue, choosing what knowledge he requires to pursue whatever endeavor he wishes to pursue, and later in life, if he needs to learn some subject that he didn't study that would be required for, let's say, a liberal arts education, if he wanted to become well-rounded, he could do so later after already having established a career and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Also, responsibility. Why are young people so irresponsible? Because of self-fulfilling expectations. After studying the most successful teachers in the world, you look up Lisa Van Dam Academy, okay? Those students come in with average IQs, but because of the fact that she inspires in them, just like with me, my IQ was tested at like 103 in second grade. But in 5th and 6th grade, what happened in 5th grade is I fell in love with my 5th grade teacher, and we were given the ability to choose our own books to read during free, reading time. So for an hour a day, we could read whatever book we wanted, and we also kept a log of which books we read. And whoever read the most amount of books at the end of the year got a prize. In 5th grade, I didn't have any friends because my head was in the clouds. I enjoyed playing video games, and everyone else enjoyed watching South Park and beating up other kids, and they were cool. I mean, in their own way, they're not hooligans. They were young kids just going out there having fun, playing around, just doing enjoying adolescence for what it is. I can't blame them. Going out there and stirring up trouble with no fear of consequences and just having fun. But that wasn't my thing. I was interested in ideas, but what really changed me, I got good grades before it, but in 5th grade I got straight A's because I fell in love with Mrs. Grassi. I discovered Harry Potter, which I fell in love with. I read the entire series, all that was available, the 4 books, in less than a week. I stayed up all night and day reading them. I read them in class, and I finished them so quickly. I remember the expression of how proud she was in her face, and she patted me on the back and said, "That's absolutely amazing." And I was so starved for any bit of encouragement, to anyone recognize anything special about me, anything extraordinary about me, anything to see that I did something above and beyond the call of duty, and to reward me for it. I was starved for affection. I was starved for love. And so I studied extremely hard in her class, and I also, there was a competition to see who could read the most books that year. We all kept a reading log. We could all choose whatever books we wanted from the library. And so I read somewhere in the ballpark of from 60 to 70 to 80 books in that year. I don't recall. All I know is I won. Same thing in 6th grade. I had a father figure in Mr. Beck. He was a retired police officer. He didn't take no crap. He was also fun. He turned learning into a game. We would see who solved the math problem first, and whoever solved the math problem first had the ability to throw like a hacky sack in a basket, and if you did that, then you won. So it was a combination of hand-eye coordination and also your ability at math. So I studied really hard, so I would always be the first to finish whatever vocabulary lesson. I'm trying to do this fast because I'm worried my phone will run out of space. Anyway, I should probably just end this here. Regardless, the point is, um, if anyone had recognized my ability in seventh grade, I could have been like a young Benjamin Franklin at the age of 12. Became an apprentice somewhere in some sort of industry and developed real life skills. And if people expected me to act like an adult and to assume adult responsibilities, obviously starting off with the basic stuff like, deliver this coffee to this guy or blah blah blah, internships, like stuff, until they slowly gave me more and more responsibility to see what I could handle, then assess my ability, then slowly and slowly raising me up the ladder until I decided that I would, venture out on my own project, like starting my own newspaper or whatever. Or like David Farragut, who joined the Navy at 9, commanded his own ship at the age of 12. Or like George Washington at the age of 16, who was elected land surveyor of Sussex County, I believe, and made $100,000 a year at age 16. I forget what he did before that, but imagine that, 16-year-old winning or being assigned to a role where he was responsible for surveying land. He had the knowledge and skill to do so, and made $100,000 a year. We hold back our youth. We keep them in a state of arrested development. We hold back human potential. And that's why I'm interviewing this guy about the myth of adolescence. And hopefully, all these projects that I'm pursuing and my new strategy to keep my shit together will allow me to quit binging on junk food and binging on anime and binging on Netflix and vaping and not going to sleep on time and treating my body like shit and not attending to my responsibilities and just lying around waiting for death to come to me because of getting up on life. I don't want to do that anymore. I actually want to pursue a meaningful life and get my shit together. So I'm either going to get my shit together or I'm going to kill myself, because that's my only two choices, honestly, because if I don't get my shit together, like I said, my heart condition will worsen to the point that it hurts to just breathe, and I can either die slowly and painfully of my heart condition, or I can kill myself, which will only be from years from now. So don't call the police saying, this guy's talking about killing himself, he has a plan, blah, blah. I don't have a plan. It's suicidal ideation, which means I have the idea of suicide. I don't have a concrete plan. I can't be committed. I'm just saying, in fact, that if I don't get my shit together, probably a few years from now, when my heart condition falls apart, I'll probably kill myself. Completely illegal, so fuck you, anyone who's saying don't say that, they can commit you. They can't. Not if you take it in the full context. So anyway, thank you for watching. Day 1. I'll update you every day on the progress I make to see if I succeed in getting my life together, or if I fail miserably. I binge on junk food, I vape, I don't attend to my responsibilities, I'm lazy, I don't push through when I lack energy and motivation, and instead just lie around because I don't have energy and motivation, and I don't have the self-discipline to overcome the lack of energy and motivation. Or I give in to instant gratification because I wasn't loved as a child, and I was never praised as a child for doing good things, but instead I was actually treated like shit as a child for being intelligent. My father said, you think too much, you write too much. And when I didn't have any friends because I was so different from anyone else, he came down my room and screamed and yelled at me, called me a fucking loser, told me to get the fuck out of my cave, and said, you can't just sit in your fucking cave all by yourself feeling sorry for yourself, you think your life is so hard, blah blah blah, my life is so much harder, you're being a little fucking bitch, get your shit together, we gave you such a great life and you're just wasting it in your fucking room, fucking doing nothing, stop being a piece of shit, when I was suicidal. He didn't come down my room and put his hand on my shoulder and say, Ben, I noticed that you don't really seem to have any friends, like, what's going on, is there something you want to talk about, like, I had a really rough childhood. He could, probably start by talking about his childhood, which would make me more open to talk about my childhood, which is a good strategy. Or he could follow the principle of seek first to understand, then to be understood, you know. But he didn't. And my mom really just was there in existence. Just like my father emotionally and physically abused me without intervening, and is emotionally dead inside from marrying a man who emotionally and physically abused him. And that's my story. So hopefully it has a happy ending, though. Hopefully I can help other kids like myself not end up wasting years of their life just failing and failing and failing and failing over again. It said that if a foolish man never learns from his mistakes, which I've been, a smart man learns from his own mistakes, which I hope to be, and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others, which I hope one day my students will be. By the way, I one day hope to be a teacher and then a professor of education who teaches other teachers how to actually teach, which involves inspiring and motivating your students. If you aren't interesting, you're not a teacher. Okay? Part of being a teacher is being interesting, being great at public speaking. You also have to tell students why the knowledge you want to impart to them is valuable. Otherwise, why the fuck should they pay attention in your class? You don't have the right to have students pay attention to your class. You have to inspire them with a love of the knowledge that you wish to impart to them. You have to explain to them why it'll be valuable to them in their life. If you can't do that, or you don't know why it would be, then you need to start fucking doing a little bit of goddamn research. And then you need to write an inspirational speech, and that needs to be the first thing you deliver on day one of your fucking class. An inspirational speech about the value of the knowledge you wish to impart upon your students. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Day 1 out of 100. Let's see what happens. Will I go on to achieve some level of greatness, despite the fact that I've already wasted most of my potential? Or will I end up giving up on life and saying, sorry, I'll see you in a few years when I'm in the newspaper and I off myself? China. That's Japanese for bye. Or I could just say sayonara, because everybody knows what the fuck that means.